Hello everyone, this is just a quick video for Raven's Coffin v3. If you don't care about prisons and you just care about epic cinematics, maybe skip out on this video, but if you're interested, then stick around. So, I released Raven's Coffin, and it was a pretty good prison, right? The problem was, it was a bit of a rat's nest, and a couple people found an escape, so I patched it in V2 of the prison, right? I released a V2, and then two people found escapes for that, and then I was like, wait, why are all the escapes like visiting escapes? So I redid the entire inside of the prison. So this is Raven's Coffin v3. As you can see, way better. Like, if you look at v2 compared to this, like, v2 has the messiest redstone I've ever seen in a prison. It's just the king of spaghetti. You know, like, look at this. Look at this. It's beautiful. So, I've basically redesigned everything, pretty much. The entire process is still basically kind of the same, which is intentional because I still wanted to keep the original concept of the prison, but everything's just better now. So first of all, we have these like pig glitches now, which require less redstone. They're cool. And so this is the entry. So what you do as a prisoner is you would spawn in here, you would get immediately ZPI banned. Then they would turn off the inner portal, turn this, they would open this up, and then they would turn off the ZPI, and it would push you immediately into here, and then you drop all the way down, these netherite blocks would just close on you, then you right click this respawn anchor, and then you get dropped down into the firework kill check, where you just get, yeah, it's just death, it's literally just death. And so then, you would respawn up here, on top of the gold pressure plate, where you would then be splashed with fire resistance, and then you would be pushed down into like a 1x1 hole, and I am using netherite hose instead of pig step, and this is why. There's lava here now so that you can't throw items, and the reason why is because I can't place hopper minecarts anywhere here anymore, so this is the best I can do. So, and netherite hose don't burn in lava, pig step does. So, then you would go through here, this would be close behind you so you can't like put anything in the barrel and then grab it back. And then if you're a prisoner, you just put everything in here and then you get dropped down. If you're a visitor, you not only do that, but you also right click this respawn anchor. If you right click this respawn anchor as a prisoner, it doesn't really matter. So then, if you're a prisoner, you get dropped down here. You go through here, right click this respawn anchor, and then funny part about this is that you still have fire resistance when you get down here. So, you're gonna have to wait for the fire resistance to wear off, and then you're gonna die, and then you just respawn inside of the cell, which is right up here. If you're a visitor, you just go through here and you go up these stairs. And then you go all the way up, and then boom. Then the prisoner trap gets enabled, and then the TNT is dropped until the prisoner dies, and then the visitor enters the cell. They chat for a bit, I guess, and then when the visit is over, the visitor will just be killed and sent to world spawn, and that's pretty much the exact same process. So how does the guard do all of this? Well, let's give a tour of the guard room. And first of all, this isn't where the guard's spawn point is. I've made the guard's spawn point, like, logical now, so they spawn here at the main control room. I need to put on some soul speed boots, god damn. I'm going slow. So, this is the main control room. This is where guards set their spawn. And you can also refill their own thing right here. This is where all the guard kits are. And you can also block off the guard respawn really easily. Like that, if any guard wants to leave. It's just that one guard has to be at least like logged out inside of the prison. Like, they don't have to be constantly monitoring the prison because that's dumb. But at least one guard has to be at least logged out inside of the prison. Only one guard can leave the prison at a time. But both guards can be AFK and the prison can still run fine. Because guess what? No more AFK lever from the previous version 2, because roof detector and floor detector now just automatically activate suicide switch. Just no questions asked, they just go straight to it right there. So let's just give more of a tour. This lever is specifically for Thub because it actually works now. Basically, redstone goes down here, and it actually blocks off the spawn. Look at that. I actually did it this time. This lever works. Next is blocking off the prisoner's respawn anchor. This would only be pushed if like the prisoner's time is up and they needed to leave the prison, like they've served their sentence. So you just flick this and then you go to cell controls, which I'll get into later, and you kill the prisoner. Then this is the warden auto panic, and you can disable it and enable it if you want. It's just the same auto panic from the previous versions. This is to enable and disable trap portals, sorry. And then this is the guard auto panic right here, and then guard kits, yada yada. And then this is the suicide switch. Basically, unflick this lever, crouch, and then you flick this, and yes, it does work in survival mode. So you do this, and you can reach the lever right there. So let me effect clear. So now I'm gonna get into these cell controls. Actually, no, I'm gonna start all the way from over here. So this is the first decontamination controls. Basically, you can enter the first decontamination through here. This is the ZPI. Basically, you get it and then you place it in the item frame, and then when you're done with it, you break it out of the item frame and then you throw it in the stopper, and that's how you enable and disable the ZPI. And it says right here, if the inner portal is on, the ZPI also must be on at all times. So before you enable the inner portal, you have to enable the ZPI, and before you disable the ZPI, you have to disable the inner portal. So if the inner portal is on, the ZPI is also on, basically. So if you go first decon part 1, this lever is to block off the portal, and it does exactly what it says. It uses slime blocks to block off here. And this turns the portal off and on. It's pretty self-explanatory. This is for the inner portal. So basically how it would work is the ZPI gets enabled, a trap portal is turned off via the main control room, and the inner portal gets turned on, and then someone comes through and they immediately get ZPI banned. The trap portal would be re-enabled, this portal would be disabled, and then the ZPI disabled. That is how someone would go through. And then this is just for the drop down right here. So they would just get dropped down into a hole, and that's it. So if we come down here, this is the first decontamination part 2. And right here is the after drop block, which basically does this. It pushes all these netherite blocks here so that they're confined into this little space right here. It's not completely necessary, but it's nice to have, like, as an anti-griefing measure, I guess. And then there's the drop to kill check right here, which basically does exactly what it says. It drops you into the kill check right here. If they decide to be a piece of shit and they just stand on the iron door, then oh well, just tell them to drop down, I guess. And if they don't comply, I don't know. Honestly, that would just be kind of annoying. If they're a visitor, you can just cancel the visit. If they're a prisoner, well, they're supposed to cooperate anyways. Fireworks go burr. I don't want to enable this, but because I don't want to waste fireworks. But basically, it powers this piston, which pushes this observer to here, which constantly activates fireworks. It just spams it with the redstone clock. So that's all the first decontamination controls, and this is the second decontamination right here. So if we go here, this is the pig step exit door, which basically it just opens this door, and that's it. And then this light tells you if anyone is trying to throw anything onto this pressure plate, or there's more than one entity on the pressure plate. If there is, then the light will turn on. Guards are expected to pay very close attention to this light, like very, very close attention. There's no alarm because that wouldn't be very compact, so whoopsies. And unlock chest / refill pig step. This is only when the entire visiting process is over, or the imprisonment process. Basically what this does is, normally, in order for this item check to work, they grab all the hose from this barrel, and then they put all of them in this dropper, and they all get filtered into the chest. But what this does is, instead of having it stay in the chest, when that lever is enabled, all the netherite hose will flow back into the system. Wait, does this work? Feels like a bad time to ask that question, but better late than never. So what this does is observer. I need to fix that. Fuck. Just like, let's just do a little bit of pretending. So, What this does is it just like filters everything through here, and it puts all the netherite hose back here, and so it just filters everything back into the barrel without having guards having to manually do it. So, prisoner entrance, what this does is it just unlocks the door for the prisoner right here. It just unlocks this door, and then if you go back here, this is the visitor entrance. It basically just unlocks not only this door right here, but it also unlocks the door up here. So it also unlocks that as well. And so the other thing I'd like to notice is this prisoner lava kill check button, which basically, I've said that a lot, it unlocks this so that the prisoner can just fall through into the lava pretty quickly, and then they can die and go to the cell. So now let's get into the cell controls. Actually, there is one more thing I want to show you that's here. If for any reason the guards have to enter the second decontamination, they can do it through here. They can just flip the lever, and boom, they can go through. So, now let's move on to the cell controls. Interesting. So, up here, we have a kill prisoner button, which does about what you'd expect. Does this. This doesn't damage any redstone or anything, so don't worry about that. I've tested this a billion times. It doesn't. And over here is the trap prisoner button, which if you flick it, it brings the netherite blocks up, and so it can just trap a prisoner. So ideally, this prisoner trap would go up, and then you would kill the prisoner. Or in reverse order, you could kill the prisoner, and then as soon as they die, you could flick this lever, because the respawn button just doesn't come up immediately, you know. So, the visitor entrance, what this does is it just opens this door, and that's about it. Those are the cell controls, and a little thing I've added, just so I don't have to add 80 years worth of TNT, you can go up here. This is the cell X-ray. This allows you to see in the cell. And then this is like the shaft, I guess. This is a maintenance shaft, or like a boiler room of some sort. And you can refill any of the TNT that your heart desires. And if this comparator is broken, or if this is no longer supplying power to here, meaning that the TNT is run out, then the suicide switch will just go off automatically. So, that's how that works, and I'm also going to show the cell X-ray, which is over here, and it's just this pig called Technoblade, where you can see inside the cell with, like, basically perfect vision. You can see whatever's happening in there. So now you can go down, and then down here. And then beyond this point is basically, besides for this control room, which I've already shown, basically it's just a lot of X-rays. This is to refill the prisoner's glowstone right here. And yeah, this is basically the glowstone for the prisoner's respawn anchor. This should be refilled if it's gone dry. And also same thing for the TNT. That should be refilled as well. You only really have to come there, like, to the TNT every 3 weeks or so, which I think is reasonable. It saves me from having to put 5,000 chests above the cell, so I think that's a good thing. It's a nice trade-off. X-ray for second decon part 1, and these are just a couple of the X-rays. You can see the stairs pretty well up until that point. Creative mode exposed. And then if you go down here, you can also see this, which is just the second part of the decontamination. Second part of second decontamination, I should say. And then if you go back up, which a lot of these do require ender pearls to get back up, then you can go here. This is first decon part 1 X-ray right here. And because of the way composters and X-ray glitches work, for some reason you can't see above that line. I don't know why, it's just weird visual things, I guess. I don't know. It's also because I'm on a server right now. On single player you could see this perfectly fine, but obviously Prism would have to be on multiplayer, so this is the visibility that you get. So, down here I really need ender pearls. So if you go down here, you also have this guy, who allows you to see down here, which is the respawn anchor, and then if you go here, this is another pig, which allows you to see the skill check. So just the second guard, the warden would be the one going through the entire process, you know, like guiding the prisoner or visitor through the entire thing. But the guard would just be going in whatever composter gives them the best visibility. And those are all the composter glitches. There is about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. 2 of them here, 3 of them here, 1 for the cell. And so that's the entire guard room for Raven's Coffin V2, and that's the entire prison. Just one more thing though. This is new protocol because there's not really a guard handbook, so this is the best you're gonna get. There is protocol. If the suicide switch needs to be activated, you probably aren't gonna use this lever often. You're probably just gonna log out because there's cats here. So if during the visiting or any lockup process, you would have these auto panics enabled. It doesn't matter any other time, but if any escape is being attempted during like a visiting process, or if any escape is being attempted, period, you could just log out of the server, and the suicide switch would just activate automatically within like a few ticks. You know, for the you can measure the ticks yourself, but it's like under a second for pretty much everything. And so that is pretty much Raven's Coffin V3. This is the entire thing. I'm really happy with how it turned out. It's very compact. I really like it, and I think, excluding universal methods, I can't think of anything anyone could exploit like whatsoever. There's nothing about, like, I think this is perfect. I think this is genuinely perfect, but feel free to prove me wrong, escapists. So that is Raven's Coffin V3, and please escape my prison, I need clout, and that's the video. Goodbye.